Folks, we are back in the Lego room again today, and as you can see by the state of it, we are very much midway through a project. Let me show you what I've been up to. I finally have all of the parts that I need to be able to do my roads properly, the way I've been threatening to do these roads since the very beginning, and they actually look really good. We've got the road plates, the new style road plates, sort of mills plated up. I'm going to show you how I've done that a little bit later on in the video, because it's not quite a mills plate. It's actually the closest I've got to a mock, my own creation, because I've taken a load of stuff from a load of different videos, a load of different tutorials, and basically mashed a few bits together and customized them a little bit so they work in my city. So although it's not specifically mills plates for the plates themselves, they're compatible with mills plates the way I've set up my mills plates. So what I mean by that, you can see that the edge of the curb is the same height as the edge of the curb on the modulars that I've got in the city. We've then got the road, we've got the nice little white lines down the side of the road, so it looks a bit more like a road. And then most importantly, the bit I'm most excited and most proud of is that we've got the train line embedded into the road, so it effectively becomes a tram line. Because my plan for the lower tier of the city now that we know the new tram set is coming, specifically this tram set is coming on the 1st of August, my plan now is we're going to have multiple tracks in this city, and the loop that we've got set up at the moment on this bottom tier is actually going to be a tram loop rather than a train loop. So the new tram that's coming is going to run down there, and the majority of the track, certainly all the visible track on this bottom part, is going to be embedded into the roads like you can see on there. As well as that, I mean, there are a few other bits that I've worked on since you last saw the city. So before I show you how I made that, we'll do a quick Lego City update, because as you can see, we have now added the Palace Cinema. Anna ordered that for me while we were on holiday, and that arrived the moment that we got back. I think you'd seen the downtown diner, but that's in as well. And you can see I've now moved the Natural History Museum up to the top as well, because I think it fits in better. But we've got a little bit of a touristy area up the top, and also some of the vehicles that I've been building as well. So we've got the moving van in behind the town council, and then down on this bottom row, we now go corner garage, assembly square, jazz club has moved down here, and then we've got the new boutique hotel on the end, which is the other new modular that I've added in, which really probably should be at the top with the other tourism-y based things. The only problem is so many of the modulars that I've got are the corner modulars. We've got the downtown diner, the Palace Cinema, the corner garage, and the boutique hotel, and the Sanctum Sanctorum, all want to be on the corners. I've got more corner modulars than I have middle modulars. The two of the three middle ones that I've got at the moment, two of them are 1.5 width. We've got the Assembly Square, we've got the Natural History Museum. So at the moment, the only one that I've got, which is a normal width, is the Jazz Club. So what I'm saying is there's very much going to be things to change down here soon. I have got a police station on the way, although Yodel have lost it. And then there's a couple of other bits that I want to do, basically to fill that out and then rearrange again. The other new thing I've added, you can see we've got the lighthouse in the corner there. When we were on holiday in Lanzarote, I looked at a lighthouse off of our balcony every day. So when I got home, I had to add a lighthouse. So we have sort of started building the beach and park area. You can see we've got the beach huts I built in Lanzarote as well. We've got a little camper van that's set up, and then just loads of parts everywhere, because these are the parts that I'm using to make the roads that I'm going to show you any moment now. But as mentioned, the plan now is for multiple train tracks. So in addition to having the loop down at this level, I am now actively moving forward in the first proper city expansion, where we're going to be losing this white table. This brown table is going to turn around and face the wall the way it was originally supposed to be, and these lights, the camera, and a TV are all going to be mounted on this wall underneath that picture frame. The TV just basically is going to work as a monitor for when I'm streaming, for when I'm editing video in here. And then this wall is going to be absolutely covered in all of the art sets that are currently on that wall and in production by Anna. Having then created all that space, and also all of the stuff that's currently on that Billy bookcase is going to be moved underneath the Lego City. So we're going to have a lot of free space at the end of this room. We're then going to put 2 new tables in at the end, which will probably come to about here, I think, and fill most of that width and go L-shaped, and also extend the raised platform along the width of that as well. So we'll have a big L and then a slightly smaller L sat on top. And the plan then is to have a train that runs pretty much from here. We're going to put a train station in that gap there, a train that runs from there turns, runs all along there, have another train station at that end, and just have it shuttling back and forth rather than as a loop. And I do have, somewhere in this pile of junk that I need to tidy, one of those, which is a sensor that will allow me basically to have the train shuffle back and forth, stop at stations, and finally use my computer science degree after all these years and do a little bit of programming of the train. But that's enough of a Lego City update for now. I'm sure what you really want to see is how I made those plates, because we need to make one more to fit into that gap there. I'm going to make that one now, and I'm going to show you exactly how that I've done it. How that I've done it? I don't think that's a sentence anyone's ever said before. I'll show you how I did it, how I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you a tutorial demonstration thing. Is that bulb flashing? That was weird. It felt like the bulb was flashing. So, as you can see, I'm completely surrounded by stuff. This isn't actually even all of the parts that I need. These are just the ones that were still in bags from my most recent Bricklink and Pick-a-Brick orders. I've got some other stuff that's in the cabinets that I need as well. So let's get this plate built. And the first thing is to get some borders up the sides. Now, I don't actually have exactly the right size of bricks to be able to do this, because we want 2 by something bricks to go down each side, and with these ones, which are the 2 by 6s, they don't quite fit 5 of them on, he says, looking at it now, thinking, is that going to fit perfectly? No, I knew it didn't when I tested it, so I'm having to fiddle around with it a little bit to make it work. And I've got these that I got on the pab wall at some point, and if I put 2 of those and then another 2 of those, we can just about fit it all in. Obviously, if you were deliberately buying all of the parts to do this, then you could get the right size and shape of bricks to actually fill this side properly. Those of you who've watched previous videos on the channel will know I'm making do with bricks that I bought for something else, and I'm now having to repurpose. But that fits in on that side, and then we do the same thing up this side. If you're not going to have the sides visible, it's not actually essential that you use the grey bricks for this. You can pretty much use any colour, because aside from possibly one side of the edging, none of this is actually going to be visible. It's all going to be covered up by other bricks on top of it, but I just happen to have a lot of this grey brick because I ordered a lot of it when I ordered all of the wrong stuff. So I'm now using it all up. So we get that in, and then the next step is to find our road plate wherever we put that. So we've got 2 pieces of road plate here. We'll just get that out of the way for a second, because then we need to grab some 2 by 2 plate, which we already had a little bit of, and we're just going to make sure that on one of the edges where it's going to join the other one, because they're going to connect together like that. So on one of those edges where they connect together, we just need to overlap these ever so slightly to join these 2 plates together. There's this bit of this stage of the process very heavily influenced by a video I saw on the AFOL TV YouTube channel. I'll link to that down below. I have had to amend it slightly to make it fit into my city, so it's not an exact copy of their tutorial, but this bit, if you've watched that one, will seem very familiar to you, I'm sure. And then you stick that down to the plate, making sure that next to your border that you've got, you've left a 2 stud gap there. These measurements are crucial, because obviously you need to make sure that all of the plates are set up in exactly the same way. So you leave 2 studs of border on the side of that, and then you grab your other road plate, and on this one you can leave one of the edges as a gap, because we've put it already in there on the other plate where they're going to join together, and then just fill these in for these supports as well. And this is all about just getting this road plate up to the right height. There is an argument, I did fiddle with this for a while, because you'll see when we get a little bit further in that the curb actually is 2 plates thickness higher than the road on the finished thing, which I quite like. I don't mind that. If you only want 1 plate's difference between the curb and the road, you might want to put 2 layers of plate in there, because otherwise, like I say, you're going to have ultimately 2 plates of difference there, which, like I say, I'm fine with that. I think it looks quite good. So once you've got the road in, the next step is to get the rail in. Again, 2 pieces of straight track. I'm going to have a proper think about how I'm going to curve this. Probably not with the roads attached to it is the answer to that. And with this, you want that touching right up to the side of your road plate. And again, making sure that you've got 2 studs difference between the edge of your train track and your curb, because if you don't, the train is not going to fit through properly. And also it's not going to be lined up properly. You're not going to be able to do your curves, your corners properly. Every tutorial I've seen about train track in Lego, you have to leave 4 studs difference. Otherwise, things like turning corners just doesn't work. So we get that stuck down as well. You can see I'm not putting anything under that. That's just going flat to the base plate underneath, which does mean that it's that you can't really run the corner parts with the supports under, similar to what I'd planned to do in one of my previous videos, without changing the height that the track is at. But it does mean that when you just run off into the corner, you only need a base plate under it. So it's going to make it a little bit more conservative for parts when we come to do that. So we've got our road and our rail in, and now we're just going to put some of these 2x2s in between the tracks just to offer a little bit of support for the plate that's going to go on top. This isn't an essential step, but I found when I didn't do this, it just felt a little bit unsupported. In the original tutorial that I've based this on, they actually filled in all of this area, and I don't think that's necessary. I think this is enough to give us the support that we want. And then we just want to fill in over the top of that with any colour, any size plates that you want. I've got a load of these 4x8 green plates, which again, I ordered for the original train track plan that I had and then decided not to use. But it's just filling that middle bit in. So you've got a platform to then put your road on. So we've got that filled in. That feels nice and sturdy now. And then we want these 2x4 plates, similar to the ones, or tiles in fact, similar to the ones that you use on the road, so the exact same ones, and we're just going to fill this in to be the road bit in between the train tracks. And I assure you, if you have any concerns like I did, even with that filled in now up to the level of the track, the train does still run on it fine. It leaves enough room, so it is fine to do that. So we've now filled in the middle of the train track. It's now time to fill in the edges. Again, on the original video I saw, all these bits were filled in and then these were put on top. I don't think it's necessary to do that. I think this gives more than enough support, and you're just basically covering that over, again, to give us a little bit of a platform to put the tiles on. And once again, because this isn't going to be visible, it doesn't matter what color you use here. Just make sure that each end of each plate that you're putting down has some support under it. You can see that we've got a stud of support at each end and then the 2 studs in the middle, and it just fills that in across there. And then we need, from over here, my 1x4 tiles, and again, you're just filling in that with the same road colour to get it all blended in nicely. And again, there's enough of a gap there for the train still to run just fine. So that's that bit filled in, and now we need to fill in these gaps here. And this is where definitely my lack of having all of the parts that I would want to do this definitely impacts how my finished product is. I would recommend for you, you want longest bricks possible to do this part. Don't do it my way. I'm doing it my way because these are the bricks that I had, because these are the bricks that I previously ordered. But I take a load of 1x3s, a load of 1x2s, and then a load of these white 1x4 plates. And we're basically trying to get this kind of arrangement, but for the full length of this. So I'm just very much mushing together these, and it's very wobbly and doesn't feel very sturdy at all, but it's not actually going to have to support any weight. And then I just make sure where you wouldn't have any overlap at all, that's where I drop in the 2s, just to make sure that we actually have some kind of support under each one. So we just want this to go this full length. And then once it does go the full length, and you can see it's very wobbly, it doesn't look perfect, This is why I would say you want these to be as long as possible. Do what I say, not what I do. But then once you've got the full length on there, again, you're just covering it off with these, with more of these tiles that we had before. And again, if you've got longer ones of these, for goodness sake, use the longer ones because it will look better. It will be more sturdy. It will be more solid. But this is the fourth one of these plates that I've built at this point, and although it seems a little bit botched, it is a little bit botched. I'm using the parts that I've got. Ultimately, it does do the job. It feels a little bit wobbly, but the goal of this is that you just want to be able to slot that in there. And once it's in, you can see it's fine. It's your white line, and then you just fill in these bits with more of these tiles, and that gives you the width of the road on that side, and then you just repeat again down this side. So once we've got our other one of those, we pop that in as well into the gap that we've left there, and that is the road part complete. Now we just need to sort the pavement, and the pavement is one of the biggest areas where I've modified from the original design that I found online, because on the original design they just go straight on now with tiles and just do a 1 tile width difference from the curb to the road. But what I found doing that, if you've got modulars on mills plates, that leaves the curb 1 tile width below the curb on the modulars, which doesn't get the job done. Obviously, you want it to match up exactly. So I've been using these, and I have loads of these that I ordered for the original train design and haven't really used. And I just pop these in. I leave a gap there. I'll show you what I'm doing with that gap in a second. And then again, put these in here. Get that away. And then the reason I've left the gap is because for the gap, I like to make it look like we've got a little drain at the side of the road, just a little bit of a detail thing. I'm looking, there you go, that's what I was looking for over the other side. So we need a few different sized parts to do this. And again, this was more a fact of I had loads of these parts lying around and decided to use them. This is not an essential step by any means, but I just like to pop that little arrangement in like that, and then we do the same here. So I keep what I consider my little drain, keep it at that end, just move those bits away again, and then on top of this we just pop the tile on. Now for this one, whereas in a lot of other parts of the build I've said use the biggest pieces that you can, I think the 2x2s actually work really well here. They're the same as what you would use on the modulars. There you go. So we just pop that over, and that just gives that little impression of us having a little drain there, which is why I've done that. I quite like that little effect. One thing to bear in mind, and this is something that I'm probably going to have to do for all of my modulars that I've already made, doing it this way, the curb is the light bluish grey, and all the pavement on the modulars is dark bluish grey, the same as the road. So there's an argument to match the curb to what's already on the modulars, but if you do that, this whole plate is all the same colour and you can't really see the curb stand out on it at all. So I think my long-term plan is going to be to reverse the pavement colours on the modulars, so have the curbs in the light bluish grey. I don't know that I've got enough of it to be able to do it now. You can see I've got a lot of it, but I don't think I have enough of these plates to do it now, and obviously that is quite a big time-consuming job. So for now, it doesn't quite look right, doesn't quite match up right, but I mean, the city's very much a work in progress at this stage. Everything doesn't need to look perfect yet. We need to get everything in, and then we can start polishing and fiddling with stuff once it's all in. But as you can see, that gives us our completed plate that has the pavements on either side, road, white lines, and tram line going down the road as well. And I think it looks really, really cool. And then the final step, of course, is to get this newly made plate into the city. So firstly, we need to move that car out the way and get out this plate that's already in, which that's a base plate's width of train, a base plate's width of road, and then we take our new plate. And at the moment, they're only connecting in one plate or two places. So the train track just slots straight in like that, and you can slot it straight into the track that's behind it. And this is where the advantage of it being just one base plate deep comes in, because it can connect straight in to the track that's already there, like so. Those bits slide around a bit as well. And then the other thing that we do is grab some of the, wherever I've put them, the 2x4 plates, there they are, 2x4 tiles, sorry, and use that to just connect those two together. There is at this end a couple of Technic bricks in that are just connected to the boutique hotel at this end by Technic pins, just to hold that one in place so it doesn't slide up and down. And I imagine I'll do that again at this end just to stop it sliding. But you can see that's pretty sturdy. That's not moving when I slide it up and down. It's held nicely in place, and that gives us effectively our main street in our city with the train line embedded into the road. Now, I am going to have to fiddle with this design a little bit now we come down to this end, because you can see just here, the plan is for the road to bend around and it will disappear underneath the raised platform, and then the next plate along, the train track curves. That is very much a job for another day. But for now, I am absolutely delighted with how that's starting to look. And once we have finished it off down there, moved it all around the corner, we can then, of course, move up to the top level and do the same again. And we can now use the same design as we are on the bottom on the top, because we're planning to have that train line running all along there. It does mean I'm going to have to buy some more train track, because I'm using all of the train track I own currently on this loop. So we're going to have to buy some more train track. There'll obviously be a little bit that comes with the tram, so it's not an urgent job to do the top level of the road. But I would like to get this bottom section finished as my next job, and of course get the next couple of modulars in as well, and start to fill that top level. And we are getting close to phase one of the Lego City being complete then, because then the only other thing we have on phase one is sorting this area, which is going to be the sea, beach and theme park area. But worry not, my planning spreadsheet that I showed you in one of the previous videos, I already have up to version 4 of this city planned out. We're going to be going in phases. Nothing is permanent at this point. And once we get on to phase 4, I've already got ideas for phase 5 coming. There's going to be, it's going to look incredible. I'm so happy with how it's already looking. This, bearing in mind 2 months ago, this was a bedroom. I'm very, very happy with how it's already looking, and fingers crossed, give it another couple of months, it's actually going to look like a finished Lego City. Not that a Lego City's ever finished, but it's getting closer. And of course I need to do the retaining walls as well, which I have placed a pick a brick order for, but we know how long they take to come. So that probably isn't going to be done at any point in the next month or so. But hopefully you've enjoyed that video and found it useful. If you did, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on if you are new. There's loads more Lego City updates coming, plus all of the other Lego content as well, set reviews, conventions, shopping vlogs, loads here. Have a little look around the channel, have an explore, make yourself at home, join the Discord. And thank you very much for watching.